Welcome back to another video. It's your boy Cordy, man. We ready to get right into this. Let's get right into this. Here we go.
It's time to look at the most shocking rumors that you need to know about this year's PLE.
Hopefully
Be sure to
Reigns
subscribe and hit that
here.
notification bell for daily wrestling
he's trying
videos
to
and
return.
follow us on Facebook for
Can't wait for
exclusive lists. Also check out our new videos on WrestleMania XL. Number 1, LA Knight finally wins the big one. Now, LA Knight is set to enter his third consecutive Money in the Bank ladder match, and a lot of the fans are labeling this as a make or break for LA's status as a main eventer. LA Knight has impressed since ditching the Max Dupree persona. However, it's evident that Triple H sees LA in an upper mid-card role, and Triple H Saturday, then the chances of him ever becoming world champion are unfortunately...
Let's see. Why not? Give us another GTA video.
Of course, with any new bit of Grand Theft Auto 6 news, and this time a trailer, there always comes a bunch of speculation and really crazy fan theories.
Oh shit, here we go again.
We've seen a lot of them out there. We've wandered the internet and we've come back with 10 of the craziest GTA 6 fan theories. Let's get started off with number 10. There's theory and speculation out there that 70% of buildings will be enterable. Yes, you heard that right. One of the most commonly held fan theories is also one of the most ambitious, technically. Look, games are getting more and more immersive with faster loading and more realistic visuals and more true-to-life environments. And you know what's something you can do in real life? You can go inside, anywhere. I mean, not everywhere, you get arrested, but you know what I mean. Now, in the land of video games, especially open world video games, interior space is usually at a premium, you know? Usually in these types of games, you get a few central locations you can go in and out of. Maybe a few set piece missions that take place in an interior, but for the most part, you're stuck outside. GTA 6 might, and that's the key word here, might change all that if this fan theory ends up actually being true. Imagine an open world game the size of GTA 6 where you can actually go inside 70% of the buildings. That would be a literal game changer in terms of immersion. We've never really seen anything like that. For actual gameplay purposes, it sounds like it would maybe be unnecessary, but think about GTA Online, right? Being able to go anywhere would make the online experience way better, way more detailed. That speculation about 70% isn't coming completely out of nowhere either. This isn't just a theory conjured up. Like, we know that Rockstar has filed patents for procedurally generated interiors, and that old mega Rockstar leak made many references to making a lot of interior locations in GTA 6. Whether any of this will actually pan out or be in the final product, who knows? But the leaks do suggest that Rockstar wants to expand the amount of, explorable interior space in GTA 6. And that doesn't just mean a bigger map, it means being able to maybe actually go into all these buildings. We hope so. We'd love to see it. Next, over at number 9, the theory that Liberty City is in the game. This first theory was pushing into implausibility, but now with this second one, we're just diving into crazy town. There are the more reasonable theories that perhaps Liberty City might appear in the prologue, similar to Yankton in GTA 5, or maybe show up as a place you're briefly in during a mission, like when you go to Liberty City real quick in San Andreas. Maybe during a flashback or something like that. That's a pretty reasonable assumption to make. But the real crazy theory here is that Liberty City doesn't just appear, it's actually like a second landmass or map entirely. The idea being that you'll have Vice City and all of Leonida as well as Liberty City, and they'll be the two separate islands we see on some postcards. Oh yeah, and there are license plates from Liberty City too, so of course that must mean we're just gonna be going there, right? It's not like people from another state would be in a state based on Florida, one of the biggest tourist destinations in the country. No, it must be that there's just an entire second map that they're just keeping hidden from us. Look, we're being sarcastic here. It would be a hell of a surprise if this actually ends up being true, but maybe don't get your hopes up. The game is already looking extremely ambitious as it is. Do they really need to double the potential map size on top of everything else that's in there? This isn't even the only fan theory about major secret landmasses in the game. There's a lot of speculation that Rockstar's original plan for a Project Americas is still on, and that there actually will be significantly more added to GTA 6, if not on launch day, then later through DLCs. There is, of course, a lot of speculation that the state of Gloriana will be heavily
DLC
featured at some
dropping in
point because of
December.
license plates and stuff like that,
Unless they
which,
come
you know,
out with,
people would
like,
assume is like a nearby
DLC,
representation of the state of Georgia.
like,
Look, all this
December.
stuff isn't completely impossible, but considering the scope of the game already, we're just finding it kind of hard to believe that they'd seriously consider making the game so much bigger than it already is. Maybe we'll get a Red Dead Redemption 2 Guarma style chapter set in a smallish separate map, but that's really as far as we can see any of these ideas going. Next, over at number 8, the theory that there will be a mission in space. Look, we're only 3 entries deep here, and this is already going way off the deep end. Seriously, a space mission? Is Jason gonna like get in a shootout on the moon or something? I don't know. Like, GTA games can go over the top, but not that over the top. A moon mission is getting into like Saints Row 4 kind of territory, and we just don't see GTA 6 going that wacky, because otherwise, it's actually looking like a pretty serious affair. Look, this might sound like your average crazy speculation that came from nowhere, but here's the thing. The leak mentioned files with names like space station and shuttle and astronaut suit, and orbit, space landscape, low gravity, all these words popping up, which actually seems to imply that there could be, seriously, a mission where either of the characters for real go into space. How on earth is that meant to happen? We have no idea, but the potential is there if the leaks end up being 100% accurate. The concept of a mission involving space or NASA in some way isn't completely far-fetched. I expect the game will have its own version of, Cape Canaveral. Maybe there's a mission that involves a rocket
Hopefully
launch
this is just
where you
the,
don't actually go into space, but you see it in a
movie trailer
cutscene,
that
or maybe
they're
there's a
watching.
shootout. I don't know.
Or
There's a
movie
distinct
watching
little
on
possibility.
the
But again,
TV
this isn't a list for reasonable theories, though. This is all about crazy theories, and the idea that this relatively realistic and grounded crime game will have a mission where you go on a rocket and launch into space is pretty nuts. Normally we just dismiss this idea outright, but those file names actually did, add some fuel to the fire, I guess. We still don't think it's going to happen, but hey, at least the theory isn't quite as far-fetched as you'd initially believe at first glance. Next, over at number 7, functioning gas pumps. This is one theory that's oddly common. After Red Dead Redemption 2 and its almost pathological dedication to immersion and realism, along with Rockstar's acquisition of 5M, the role-playing thing, it's just left fans going wild in speculation about all the immersive elements they'll incorporate into the game. In many fans' minds, this game is going to be less of an open-world crime game primarily focused on action, and will instead be the most immersive life sim possible, with some minor crime-related elements. Look, that's why there's so much speculation about the possibility of working gas pumps here. That means you actually have to keep an eye on your gas tank, which will make the game more true to life and presumably better. I don't know, like, it's not a completely impossible theory. Games like Mafia 1 and 2 have working gas pumps. They're mostly just around for immersion because you're never really going to run out of gas, but it's cute that the game gives you the option. The abundance of gas stations with NPCs filling up their cars does contribute to this theory, and it's possible. I mean, in Red Dead, you had to maintain your horse and do all that stuff. It's possible in GTA 6, you have to maintain your car. It really just depends on what direction Rockstar actually takes the game, because right now, we have no idea. Are they going to lean into the slow, realistic simulation, methodical elements of Red Dead Redemption 2, or acknowledge that, Grand Theft Auto is pretty mainstream, and they got to keep things somewhat simple? Who knows, man? Next, over at number 6, the theory that GTA 6's trailers have already revealed a major plot point. Again, this is speculation, but just in case people are guessing things right, maybe you want to skip this point, but this is a pretty fascinating idea from the Reddit user Roger63358 that's both kind of insane but makes a certain degree of sense. So the gist is that every Rockstar trailer from Bully forwards has included some major story event from each game in the trailer, but nobody could tell that it was significant until after the game came out and we got the full context of the scene. So like in GTA 4, the trailers show the pivotal scene where Nico confronts Darko, but in the trailer, it just looks like a generic intimidation sequence. In GTA 5, one of the trailers shows the moment where Trevor kills Johnny Klebitz from The Lost and the Damned, but made it look like it was just a random guy. And then in Red Dead Redemption 2, this is a big one, the trailers actually show a clip from the mission where Arthur contracts tuberculosis. It seems like just an average shakedown in the trailer, but it's maybe like one of the more significant scenes in the game, but you wouldn't actually know it until much later. All of this
don't
taken
know.
together suggests that Rockstar may be doing this on purpose.
Let me know in the
Like they're
comments.
intentionally sneaking in little clips of the most important bits of story in the trailers, knowing that nobody will actually recognize the significance until the game comes out. That's all to
how
say
will we
that
know it?
maybe something in trailer 1 or 2 of GTA 6 is actually a much bigger moment than it appears to be. We might be seeing the very scene where, the two characters maybe betray each other, or a major character is revealed to be a mole, or something like that. One person's a cop, an undercover cop, who knows? It's just not
played that
clear
game
from the
A
way
Way
these scenes
Out,
are framed.
where you
What's
were,
interesting about this
you
theory
and
is that
somebody
it's
else was
both
in
kind of
jail,
far-fetched because,
turned out
who's to
the
say
guy
that
was
this isn't
cop
all just
too.
total coincidence, but it's
He was
also
just-
weirdly compelling. Like, yeah, this does seem like something Rockstar would actually do.
It's crazy.
Next, over at number 5, the theory that there will be a relationship meter in the game. With how much the trailers and website
I
for
can't
GTA
stand
6
the
seem to
relationship
emphasize the relationship
Andreas, I'm playing
between
it right
Jason
now.
and Lucia, it's not all that difficult to imagine that the game will feature some kind of relationship meter, something you fill up, something similar to how honor works in Red Dead 2. The speculation is that depending on your actions and how you behave to one another, the relationship will either get stronger or weaker and could possibly affect the ending. Like if the relationship is strong, they'll stick together in the end, but if it's not, then they may betray each other or have one walk away when the other one is in danger or something. I don't know. In Red Dead Redemption 2, it wasn't as specific. Your honor changed depending on what good or bad deeds you committed, but it did have an effect on how Arthur's story ended. It didn't change things drastically, but there was a difference depending on if the game considered Arthur to be honorable or dishonorable. And it was really cool to see the little nuances the game would trickle in.
I remember this
GTA
fight.
6 could
This
play
fight in the
out the
bar.
same way. Now, do I actually think this is going to happen?
Almost took him
Who
out, too.
knows? I think it's crazy at this point to speculate about in-depth game mechanics like this, but that's what we're doing here. I don't know. I feel like Red Dead was where they experiment with RPG mechanics,
stopping
not
the
Grand
train.
Theft Auto.
remember
At
a lot of this
most, I'm
stuff.
thinking GTA
Surprisingly.
6 might just have some binary choices like GTA 4 and 5. That's probably the most likely outcome, but as far as crazy fan theories go, this one is pretty reasonable, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Next at number 4, the theory that GTA 6 is secretly a continuation of Red Dead Redemption 2. Okay, look, this is like just pure nonsense, but hey, it gets repeated enough that I guess we should talk about it. So this theory entirely hinges on the fact that someone, somewhere, thinks that the protagonists of GTA 6 look like some of the characters in Red Dead. So Jason, I guess, is meant to be Arthur, Raul is
seen that.
Dutch, and Lucia is someone, nobody, I don't know. Look, listen, folks, if your theory falls apart at one of the two main protagonists, maybe you should workshop it just a little bit more. Frankly, the idea that Arthur and Jason look like exactly the same is kind of ridiculous. I mean, seriously, you think these guys look identical? I don't know. Either someone here is crazy or like they're losing their eyesight, or they're just farming for clicks and now we fell for it. That's kind of the world we're in now. I don't know. I don't think this theory really holds any water, even though they're all crazy. This one's like extra crazy. All this nonsense somehow makes the equally asinine theory that somehow Arthur is Jason's grandfather seem more sensible and well thought out in comparison. It's a theory that comes out of nowhere, but at least it doesn't immediately fall apart under 2 seconds of scrutiny. Well, actually, I mean, he really would have to be Jason's great-grandfather. Yeah, I guess that theory falls apart too. Anyway, okay, let's move on. Now at number 3, the theory that you can play video games on the console. This is one that, depending on how far you want to take it, it ranges from, yeah, fairly reasonable, to that's just completely cracked. The basic concept is sound. I mean, trailer 2 shows a gaming console. It's not too far-fetched to assume that maybe your character can interact with it and play it. It's not like playing games within games is some impossible thing to imagine. Plenty of games have done it. From like every Yakuza game under the sun to Uncharted 4 with Crash Bandicoot in it to Black Ops, Cold War. Gaming just could boil down to playing some Atari games for a few seconds just as a laugh. That seems a little unambitious for Rockstar. The console is meant to be like a knockoff PlayStation 5, so you'd think maybe they'd have something a little more complex than just some 8-bit games there, right? But how far will they take it? Will you be able to play GTA 3 in GTA 6? Probably not, considering they're still selling that game for like a premium now, but they could put in some less popular DMA design games or something. Throw in Space Station, Silicon Valley, or Body Harvest in there. You know, that would be a fun surprise. Or if they really want to go nuts, they could come up with like a completely new game to screw around in that exists in this universe. Let us actually play that Righteous Slaughter game. Look, it doesn't have to be a fully featured game. Just give us a little taste. That could be fun. Yeah, this is where the whole idea is starting to stretch things, but hey, it's something that we want to believe in. That's what this list is all about. Some crazy fan theories. Now at number 2, maybe there's going to be an in-game form of social media. I know how much you like doom scrolling, so what could be better than getting brain rot scrolling social media in the game? Obviously, yes, like GTA 6 will be incorporating social media somehow. The entire first trailer featured that stuff heavily. It makes sense. It's modern society. It's what GTA games do. While we still have no idea how all this stuff will actually integrate with core gameplay, but we think it's safe to assume that socials will be a major part of the game's setting and the satire. But what's really up in the air is just how much social media will be a thing in the game. Will it just be a new way for the game to integrate side activities like doing stunt jumps and chaos missions where you go on a rampage, or will it be more than that? One common fan theory we've seen floated is that NPCs could potentially record footage of you. Like if you're acting goofy in public or you cause some scene or do a crime, then it'll actually show up on socials naturally and maybe go viral, and maybe you'll see it when you open up your in-game phone. Look, that's already a very ambitious idea, but some fans, of course, are taking things even further by suggesting that the game will have a fully integrated social media infrastructure that you can literally spend hours scrolling through, just like in real life. Some people even want it to be incorporated into the game, like make it so you earn in-game cash by monetizing your in-game videos, which sounds kind of insane, and that sounds like a whole different game, man. The tough part with parodying social media in 2025 is that this crap is almost beyond parody at this point. It's hard to imagine making a joke version of X or Twitter or TikTok or whatever that's somehow like more of a cesspool than it already all is, but hell, if anyone can do it, it's Rockstar. Maybe they'll make fun of YouTube channels like us. I don't know. I'm open to it. I don't care. Anyway, at number 1, the most insane theory of all is that Rockstar will actually support GTA 6 with story DLC and add-ons, and not just immediately abandon it for GTA Online. Out of everything that's appeared on this list so far, honestly, I think this is the least likely thing to ever happen that, at the same time, we desperately wish would actually happen. Everyone always suspected that the original plans for DLC for GTA 5 got dumped in favor of just making more GTA Online stuff. And when it was finally confirmed by Trevor's voice actor, Stephen Ogg, came out and it said that parts of the planned DLC was shot, but they never ended up using any of it too. Like, instead, they cannibalized the single player DLC stuff for online. Look, it sucks. However it went down, whatever, it makes sense. GTA Online made them an absurd amount of money. It makes all the money. There's no reason why they shouldn't continuously support that, because it's been incredibly successful for them. But it's still disappointing for fans of Rockstar's more story-focused output. Especially because, like, these guys used to do some of the best add-ons in the business. The DLCs for GTA 4 are excellent and really expand the world and, like, the use of that stuff in the game. And Undead Nightmare for Red Dead Redemption was a really fun twist on their usual formula. It was great seeing Rockstar experiment a little and, you know, go for something with a more absurd tone. But now that their online stuff has exploded in popularity, any hopes for DLC are pretty much dead. And, you know, maybe we're a little skeptical here, maybe we're a little pessimistic. We don't expect this to change with GTA 6. We suspect that we'll get the base game, and that's it. Like, once that's out there, it's full steam on whatever else they're going to call the GTA Online part of GTA 6. Which, what's the theory there? Are they going to call it GTA Online 2? Who knows? That's it, but we do have some bonus ones for you, some smaller ones. One is that there will be GTA's version of Disney World. This is one that sounds just a little too ambitious to be true, but it makes sense. Florida has Disney, of course, and we'd love to see GTA's take on what is quote-unquote the happiest place on earth. Maybe they'll have some kind of amusement park in the game, but like a fully realized magical kingdom with the Epcot and everything else, all Animal Kingdom, all that stuff is just too much. It would practically have to be an entire game on its own. Some of the theories we've seen online, though, are kind of fun, mentioning, like, you know, having GTA's version of Walt Disney's frozen head somewhere in storage or hidden somewhere in the park as an Easter egg. It would be a great one, but I just feel like this is asking a lot for this already massive game. And another wild theory is that Lucia is actually Claude and Catalina's daughter. This is a cute one. I mean, the timelines almost kind of line up, and we know that Lucia has a Liberty City connection, so there is some logic behind the theory. The problem is that Rockstar has made it very clear at this point that the 3D and HD universes are separate, so they're not going to have an actual canon connection between characters from GTA 3 and GTA 6, because I guess it's really like two separate continuities. Look, they could do a Black Ops Cold War and say that these two series are actually connected, but I doubt it. Look, I don't know. Either way, for me, I think it's good in my head canon. I just love Claude. But those are 10 or so GTA 6 fan theories that we think are absolutely crazy. Are any of these going to be true? I don't know. Are some of them rooted in maybe possibly some truth? Maybe. But either way, it's just fun to talk about this stuff. Let us know in the comments your craziest theory for GTA 6. Is it going to cost $100? That's a big theory. That's a big one.
I don't think it is. I see $79.99 at most. You can pay $108 for the deluxe edition. Maybe $121 for the ultimate edition. Anyways, I'm gonna get out of here. Appreciate y'all for watching. Bye, guys.